Robert Kagan once said, "I believe it is still true that conflicts among major powers usually stem from geopolitical rivalries, but rarely from economic competition." Keep this in mind as we discuss today Africa, the new theater for geopolitical competition among major powers. My name is Dr. David Oualaalou.
And my name is Dr. Ross Stewart.
And you are watching Geopolitics in Conflict.
David, we're getting a lot of information coming into us about what's going on in Africa. And we're seeing more and more activity from China, which is part of the Belt and Road Initiative anyway. And now we're seeing a lot of activity from Russia. And just to remind you what the Belt and Road Initiative is, it's China's master plan to build infrastructure all over the world to get at resources and get the resources back to China, where it can be turned into manufactured goods and then transported back out to world markets. And now we're seeing Russia engaged. So we're seeing economic and military activity. What do you think?
Well, that's absolutely correct, Ross. Interesting enough about Russia. And by the way, just to remind our viewers, we did a video about Russia agreement with Sudan to establish a naval base on the Sudan coastline. So there's a video out there for that, whoever is interested in watching it. Indeed, Russia and China. Now in Africa, what we are noticing is that the expansion of their both military and economic activities. So, and the question that many geopolitical analysts and even within the business community are asking is Africa becoming the next theater for geopolitical competition among major powers?
Well, we don't have to ask the question very long. I think we've got pretty definitive information that says it's here now.
You're absolutely correct, because given that the United States is not investing much in Africa, unlike, for example, China, which has doubled its diplomatic budget in the last decade.
So we take a look at what natural resources there are in the massive continent called Africa. We see petroleum, we see uranium, we see gold, we see silver, we see diamonds, tungsten, we see all kinds of minerals there. We're also seeing massive growth in population. It isn't going to be long before Nigeria is one of the major population centers of the world. And we're seeing other African nations emerging like that, which means they're going to be markets.
Which is correct, Ross. Interesting enough, you mentioned Nigeria, given that Nigeria is an OPEC member, but also it's one of the top oil producers. I mean, given the corruption that's going on, this is why you don't see the development in Nigeria, but the potentials are there. And China has been thinking about this from way back, the last 20 years or so. And that's why its investments in Africa, both economically and militarily, has been growing. And now you add Russia to the mix, and you can just see where this is going.
Yes. I can recall seeing many pictures of Xi Jinping with African leaders. They've been building this over a long period of time.
Well, the same thing can be said about Russia. I recall a visit by Sergei Lavrov, the foreign minister, to Mozambique, to Central Africa, and to Mali. You know, usually when a foreign minister of Russia goes to a country, that tells you how important that is, because Russia could have sent in just a military delegation. But this one has to do with a much bigger picture. And the picture now is emerging as to where the competition between or among major powers, mainly the United States, Russia, and China.
Well, we see that the United States is actually putting some effort into Africa now.
It is, but it's very, very limited. Mind you that, just for our viewers to know, the United States has a presence in Africa, especially in Djibouti. That's where we have a naval base there. But who is also in Djibouti? China. So here is Djibouti, with both the United States and China, and by the way, Japan is also there. So you can just see where the dynamics, and this is my personal opinion, where I believe Russia saw the dynamics and made the agreement with Sudan regarding the establishment of a naval base that Russia's gonna be managing for the next 25 years.
Oh.
With an option of renewing the agreement every 10 years.
So the United States is clearly in global competition with these two world powers, and they're devoting very little time, effort, and energy to reestablishing quality relationships with the nations of Africa.
Yeah. Well, because of the domestic squabbling we have here, we are not even aware sometimes of what's going on around there, because the division that exists in America, where the economy is, where the tribal politics and so forth, we all know about those issues here at home that is preventing us from having a clear view of what's going on in the world. And speaking of Africa, by the way, before I forget, Ross, I just want to remind our viewers about China's economic ventures in Africa. Which
infrastructure projects, railway projects, and goodness knows, China is so far ahead of the rest of the world in terms of transportation.
Oh, that's even there. They created some highways in Sudan, and they also updated some hydro power plants, and for certain countries there. I mean, there are massive projects, but also China understands that will pave the way for access to raw material,
and eventually the market after the raw materials are converted. Yeah. They have to go someplace.
Yeah, because I always used to argue this, Ross. You take Africa, okay, and you take two business people, for example, and you tell them, what do you see in Africa? One of them will say, there is no market here, and the other one will say, there is huge potential markets here.
Yes.
So, and this is where I see how China is moving forward with its projects there, and now Russia is expanding. Because mind you, both countries are not only focusing in Africa on economic ventures, but also on a military. And especially for Russia. Russia has what we call the special ops, the Wagner Group, which operates in Libya, by the way, but it is also operating in Mali and Mozambique and Central Africa.
So where there's a power vacuum, they understand what to do.
And that's exactly what it is, Ross. They saw the power vacuum created by lack of leadership of the United States. Well, because, and let's not sugarcoat it, United States leadership has been waning in the last few years.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. So it's a reality. Washington tends not to want to accept that reality, but it is a fact.
Here's the bottom line. David and I really took a hard look at this, and we said, the United States is now coming up with $20 billion to reestablish this, that, and something else in Africa. And it simply isn't enough, and there's not enough convergence inside the United States government to make this happen effectively. It's like the internal struggles, the petty back and forth, is a major distraction away from the economic health of our nation and the potential loss of Africa. So the bottom line, refocus the government on serving the people, not serving each individual legislator.
And that's correct, Ross. Just to add one more thing regarding the billions you mentioned, there is currently a bill on the Congress floor about upping the diplomatic efforts of the State Department by about $12 billion, because they realized China and Russia is moving forward in Africa. It would be too late if the U.S. will. That's the reason why.
The doors swinging closed.
Closed.
Yeah.
That's correct.
We'd like to thank all of your comments and all of your suggestions for future shows. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Also, be sure to check out our other videos. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
And as always, stay informed. Till next time. Bye-bye.